us here in third degree at the Wembley Meat Market in Athlone in Cape Town, you couldn't really find a place more halal than this one. They are one of the lucky ones, but other butcheries may have been victim to an act so offensive that it strikes deep at the heart of the basic tenets of Islam. Tonight we will show you how pork has been sold as veal and other non-halal meats have been portrayed as halal, making a mockery of this deeply spiritual faith.
In November last year, cell phone videos were secretly made of the Orion Cold Storage plant at Capricorn Park in Cape Town, then leaked to the public. What they revealed was horrifying. Pork hearts shockingly relabeled as veal and sheep hearts and sold to retailers as genuine halal items. Muslims may have unknowingly eaten pork. There were other awful revelations in the video footage. Australian kangaroo meat relabeled as halal chuck and blade. Water buffalo relabeled as beef topside and silverside. Non-halal poultry from Spain relabeled as halal. Canadian milk powder imported as animal feed relabeled as halal skim milk powder fit for human consumption. Owner of Orion, Patrick Getner, pleaded innocence, said he knew nothing of this operation, blamed it all on two men who'd worked for him, Heinrich van Staden and Tobias Lombard. He claimed they were disgruntled former associates with an axe to grind. It was all a conspiracy, he claims, to drive him out of business. So who really was behind this diabolical scheme that hit at the heart of the sacred laws of Islam and duped consumers into eating food that wasn't what it claimed to be? The relabeling videos sent shockwaves through the Muslim community.
For a Muslim, halal is not a choice, it's an obligation.
Halal defines what can and what cannot be eaten. For a Muslim, eating non-halal food is horrifying.
It would play on your conscience because spiritually you've contaminated yourself. It's like having poison unknowingly.
So when reports of the relabeling surfaced, the Muslim community was obviously outraged. In November, numerous Muslim organizations backed by the Red Meat Industry Forum took Getner to court, determined to put an end to this offensive practice. The outcome? Orion denied any guilt, but undertook to stop relabeling. It was left to the National Prosecuting Authority to lay criminal charges or not. But owner Patrick Getner remained defiant.
My comments are the case. We're here to defend our position. We believe that we've been very badly hurt by the allegations that have been made. We stand by the fact that we've been blackmailed, it's been sabotaged, we've been set up. Our Muslim clients are extremely important to us. They've all suffered tremendously as a consequence of these allegations.
To get to the bottom of the controversy, we tracked down the men who made the videos and then leaked them. They were nervous but agreed to meet us in public in a Cape Town restaurant with their bodyguards. Apparently, they'd received death threats. Van Staden and Lombard are the men accused by owner Getner of extortion and blackmail. They deny this.
I did not blackmail him, I just asked for my money.
Van Staden claims Getner owes him 1.2 million rand. Getner insists all payments are up to date. Tobias Lombard talks us through the controversial footage. He explains how workers carefully remove the blue pork labels with heat guns, clean the boxes, prepare them for their new labels, boneless veal hearts.
We also supplied an email for Gary Cox that said the new heart containers, the new hearts that came in is delabeled and ready to go. And this is exactly what he means. They take off all the labels, it's ready They make the new labels, whatever the customer wants, veal, sheep, or pork, beef. You'll see Noordvleis, that's the company called, and underneath you'll say pork fleishen. There we go. Varkfleishen, sorry, varkfleishen. Okay, there's the milk powder. This is his building. There was our office. And there you can see all the boxes are cleared of the blue labels. You'll see that. There's also a bit more, but he's still busy there.
The workers skillfully remove the last vestiges of glue from the old labels, making sure no trace of the old label can be detected.
I mean, they were busy with this on a daily basis. There was like from the beginning till the end of the day.
The labeling machines are clearly visible in owner Gertner's office. Fake halal labels are pasted on by a store manager. Expiry dates of chicken grillers are rubbed off, new ones put on. So what was the incentive to relabel? Could it have been price?
It's a big price difference. You import pork hearts at 950 per kilo. You import sheep hearts at around about 1350. It was in the middle of the dry goods store. You can't hide there. You can clearly see this is not staged.
And indeed, owner Patrick Gertner does insist the nefarious relabeling was carried out by Van Staden and Lombard in secret, hidden from view by packing boxes. But after visiting the plant ourselves and watching these videos closely, it was clear that it must have happened in plain sight. There is simply no secret corner in this open plan warehouse for anything to be hidden. Orion dubs itself a state-of-the-art cold storage facility, boasting 3,000 tons of freezer space. It may appear sophisticated and professional, but it seems questions about its business practices need to be asked. Coming up, we confront Patrick Gertner.
You know what? I've actually had enough. Thanks.
Welcome back. You're watching Third Degree. We're coming to you from Cape Town. We're here at the Orion Cold Storage. Now, a lot of allegations have been leveled at the CEO of Orion Storage, Patrick Gertner. We thought it best to come and let him answer for himself.
We started by asking, were pork and other non-halal products relabeled as halal meat on his premises?
I can't deny that it's happened, and that's what's obviously created the greatest shock. We cannot deny that it's happened, and we cannot deny that some of them took place on our property. The videos are crystal clear with that.
So pork was relabeled as halal?
Well, we don't know if it was 1 box, if it was 10 boxes, if it was 100 boxes.
Then, amazingly, he suddenly does seem to know the finer details.
He's local in Takana.
You can't say definitively where that meat went.
I can. Yes, we've been able to isolate exactly where it's gone to.
But you don't know how often it happened. You said you don't know how often it happened.
But it would have only gone to his clients because he's the only ones who supervise.
But you don't know. If you
I know, I'm telling you that.
No, but you either know what's going on in your factory or you don't know what's going on in your factory. If you didn't know it was happening, you don't know how many batches were relabeled and what was sent out.
About why exactly boxes had been relabeled, he stuck to his story. Namely, that Van Staden and Lombard were trying to extort money from him, had resorted to blackmail, threatened to expose the videos.
This is such a clumsy attempt to blackmail.
Well, it's your comment, not mine.
That is just absurd, okay? But now you're attributing all these other deep hidden sabotage motives to him. It doesn't make sense. Which one is it? Because you've got so many explanations for it.
Yeah, I've made it clear that it's
Which
extortion.
one is it? Is
financial
it extortion
gain.
Or is it to get... But he didn't get financial
Not
gain.
from me, no.
No, he didn't get financial gain from anyone.
How do you know that?
But he didn't.
Who brought the application?
So now you're saying the other competitors are also in on the act to destroy you?
I don't doubt that for a second.
There's absolutely no conspiracy against Patrick Gertner. From anybody in the written industry, we will not gain 1 kilogram of business or 1 cent profit with him out of the market. The only thing we will gain is a clean market.
You know what? I've actually had enough. Thanks. I think...
Well, you don't want me to ask you these questions and
no,
you don't
you know
want to
what?
give you a response.
I think you've made up your mind
I
before
haven't
you've
made up my mind. I'm asking you questions. And people who walk away generally are guilty.
Okay.
He eventually agreed to continue the interview, even showing some remorse.
You have a huge, huge Muslim clientele.
I do.
And it's deeply insulting to them.
I know that, and trust me, we had no intention of offending the Muslim community. Some of our major clients are Muslims. Yes, with hindsight, things happened that shouldn't have. But, you know,
What happened that shouldn't have happened?
we can't deny that Van Staden and Lombard did relabeled product. That should never have happened.
I've not engineered nothing of that. It's all been done by Patrick Gertner. He prints the labels, he supplies them to the labor downstairs, he pays his labor, he sells the product as falsified halal. I've not engineered none of them.
Very easy just to blame other people. Don't you bear ultimate accountability as the boss? The buck stops with you.
I've got to accept that it happened on my premises. Yes,
and
I
the buck
can't.
stops with you. Because either you were a poor manager and you didn't have control over what was going on, or you were involved.
I come into the warehouse maybe once a week, once every second week.
Literally every day he was on the floor. That's a complete outrageous. I mean, that's just a lie. He checks there what's been packed. He gives out labels. He asks Gary Cox, the floor manager, I mean, is everything done? Has stuff been delabeled, ready to be relabeled, to go out for possible orders for this Friday or the week after? I mean, now he was hands-on 250%.
Yet when we asked him about why veal, which should have a V code, in fact had a P for pork code, he once again pleaded ignorance.
What is
I
veal?
won't know. I don't deal directly with the stock.
Why is a veal heart labelled with a pork label?
Where do you see a pork label?
Yeah.
And a P207 you're telling me is a pork label?
According to your things, it is.
I wouldn't know.
You wouldn't know what a pork is labelled. I'll tell you, okay? Pork hearts, P207. Pork trimmings,
Okay, let me have a look. I
P219.
haven't seen this before. Okay, so this would be a confirmation of sale that would be prepared. Outstanding orders.
So why is veal labelled with a pork
I
code?
couldn't tell you. Van Staden could have allocated it against that. We could be waiting for beef products to come through. I can't answer it.
Of course he knows what the codes mean. It's his company. Every week they had a stock meeting. There's one person doing the purchasing for Orion Cold Storage, that's Patrick Gertner himself. He negotiates the price with the importers. He sourced the product from importers. Every order was placed on email to Patrick's office. He signed off on every order. Everything was was done in Orion Cold Storage's name. Every invoice was sent out from them. Every invoice was signed, faxed back to Orion Cold Storage. Everyone was paid to Orion Cold Storage.
We spoke to another source who gave us the inside on the meat industry. Stories abound about Gertner's unscrupulous activities, which have been going on for years.
That's actually the gist of how the business is operated from day one, right? To find the loopholes, to allow them to be more competitive, right, into the market.
Gertner has also done this kind of thing before, calling a product something that it's not. In this case, to undercut the market and save on import duties.
Imported cheese, right? They brought them in under different descriptions than what they actually were, the products, right? And as far as I'm aware, and it's well documented, the matter landed up in court, right? And I'm aware of the fact that he lost his case. The courts are saying that it was Garda, right? And he was forced to pay, right? He was found guilty of that, right? And the way I understand, he was forced to pay, right, the difference between the duty structures between the two, right? And that case was settled, if I'm not mistaken, in the late 1990s.
Always just a little slap on the wrist, don't do it again. And Patrick Gertner thinks he's untouchable. He will never stop until you stop him.
Consumers being blindfolded, right, purely for the advantage, right, of the individual, right, or the company, right, that's doing these actions in order to make a lot of money.
After the break, the Muslim Judicial Council refuses to talk to us.
I'm not going. You join us here on a windy Cape Town day outside the Muslim Judicial Council headquarters. Now, clearly the MJC has some answers and explaining to do. We want to know why Orion was given halal certification in the first place. But more importantly, the MJC is the custodian of what is and is not halal. They are here as a shining example to the Muslim community and yet are hiding behind closed doors.
In the aftermath of the halal scandal, MJC Deputy President Sheikh Sadiq agreed to give us an interview. But once difficult questions emerged about the process of halal certification, he stopped taking our calls. Today we've come to speak to either the Deputy or the President himself.
Hi. Is Sheikh Sadiq here? Unfortunately not. Downstairs in my son's office.
Where is he downstairs? Oh, cool.
He's not here. But I must give the president here.
Who's the president?
She sends us downstairs.
Are you looking for Sheikh Sadiq?
He's not available. Do you have an appointment with him?
No, he won't answer my calls.
I'm sorry, no, he's not available.
I'm going to wait for him. I'm not going. We've had enough. We've been trying to get hold of him for 2 weeks.
At this point, we are keen to speak to either the Deputy or the President. So we waited. It wasn't long before another official, the Secretary General, came to speak to us. He informed us that the Deputy President Sheikh Sadiq was very sick, very different to the information we'd been given moments before that he was unavailable.
Is there somebody else who can do the interview?
At this moment in time, there's nobody.
When could they do the interview?
Well, there's nobody. I mean, Sheikh Ahmed Sadiq is the person.
What about the President? He's more senior
no.
than Sheikh Sadiq.
Sheikh Maulana Ihsan Hendricks has also been off sick, ma'am.
President is sick? How long has he been sick for?
Ma'am, I'm not going to engage in any of this discussion. I'm not. That is not relevant.
It is relevant.
It is not relevant to your interview, ma'am. We are wanting to be.
Please listen to me, Mr.
I've listened to you, ma'am. I am saying that we will afford you. We will afford you an opportunity.
People being sick. My experience, and I've been doing this for a long time, is that if there's nothing to hide and people want to talk to you, then they communicate very quickly and say, listen, sorry Deborah or sorry Barbara, we can't meet you now because we're not well, or the person who needs to speak to you is off, and we'll get back to you at some time. We've SMS'd, we've emailed, we've phoned. But you're not just not responding to us, you're not responding to anyone because the questions have got a little bit harder. So for me to just be put off by being told so-and-so is sick and this one is sick, I have to ask questions. So I'm asking you, how long has the President been sick? Because you told me the Secretary General's been sick for a couple of days. Your President, amazingly, coincidentally, is also sick.
Ma'am, I'm saying that we will afford you an opportunity.
So what they're saying is that both senior executives are sick. Doubly strange that a top-level executive meeting is in full swing in the President's office and neither of them are present.
That's a no?
No, not at all. Which is the President's car? This one. Hey?
Suspicious, we confronted them again.
We are people of faith.
Well, people of faith, unfortunately,
they do,
lie.
but unfortunately, I'm not a liar.
I know the President was there. I know the President was there.
The President of the Muslim Judicial Council is present, not the Deputy President.
But you told me the President was sick.
The President, Maulana Ihsan Hendricks.
You told me he's been sick.
Off sick for 3
You told me he wasn't here.
No, I didn't say that.
You did.
Eventually our persistence paid off. They agreed to an interview.
I communicated with you on top there that we will confirm with you about the interview. We can confirm that for tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock.
But the offer seems a way to get rid of us. The next day they phoned to tell us, and I quote, "The MJC has taken a decision not to engage you any further on the matter." Undeterred, we once again requested an interview. Their response, their executive would discuss the matter. To date, we have heard nothing further. So we are unable to ask them about halal certification, how factories are checked for compliance, how the relabeling scandal happened on their watch, and most importantly, how the money made from halal certification is spent. But we're not the only ones looking for answers. Many Muslims are angry they want transparency.
The Muslim Judicial Council lied to the Muslim public categorically because they told us that they only certified poultry, whilst the certificate they issued to Orion Cold Storage Company was for poultry and meat. And Mr. Gertner, in his court appearance and in his court papers, reaffirms that they actually certified meat as well. MJC Halal Trust has never ever given any indication of how much money they're making and how the money is being spent. It is those select elite few that make up the core, the center of these organizations that are living off the fat of the halal industry.
Unable to get answers from the MJC, we asked its sister body, the South African National Halal Association, where the MJC went wrong and how the halal certification works.
Site audit is conducted of the actual manufacturing facilities or processing facilities, and once the site audit is conclusively conducted, you would have to set up controls to manage and ensure continuity and consistency of the halal program thereafter.
In this instance, they clearly derelicted on their duty as halal certifier, because by their own admission, they never ever did an audit of the actual cold storage itself.
I think pure laxity on the part of the regulatory body, where they gave registration to a company based on certain products, and that also at the port of entry, and no jurisdiction over the actual premises where the product was stored and distributed from.
The debacle is a terrible blow to Muslim trust in halal products.
It's been a wake-up call for all segments, for the industry. It's been a wake-up call for the halal regulatory bodies, and it's been a wake-up call for the consumers as well.
There have been questions around halal for many years. Further, the broader meat industry appears to be riddled with messy underhand dealings. It's time to get rid of the rot. A week before broadcast, we offered the MJC another chance for an interview. They have not responded. But interestingly, they have gone ahead and revoked Orion's halal certification. No explanation has been given.